Hi, this is a quick introductory video to show you how to set up and start playing 7 Moons Heroes of Dragonreach. 7 Moons is a game of strategy, acquisition and adventure. The aim of the game is to build your city's defences in preparation for the invasion of Dragonreach by the evil Shadow Army. You'll do this by building strongholds in your city and recruiting allies to fight at your side. You've got limited time to prepare your defences. The Shadow Army will attack the 4 cities of Dragonreach when the Shadow Army figure reaches the 7th moon space on the moonrise track. When that happens, you must defend with whatever strongholds and allies you have managed to put in place beforehand. The Shadow Army is a tough opponent at the end of the game, but if you've planned and played well, you'll have the best chance of defending your city and your kingdom. Let's get started. This is the game board showing the Kingdom of Dragonreach. Each of its 4 cities are found at each corner of the kingdom: Stonewood, Sisters, Ironside and Temple Haven. Each player chooses a city and takes the corresponding character card. They're double-sided, showing a male character on one side and a female character on the other. Next, take the 3 meeples and the 2 dice matching your city's colour. Each of these meeples represents the 3 different ways you can travel in the game. You start on foot using the foot meeple. When you acquire a horse, you switch to the horse meeple, which allows you to move faster and carry more. And if you manage to acquire a dragon, you'll use the dragon meeple, which allows you to fly safely across water and other terrain features. You'll only be using one of these meeples at any one time. To begin, place your foot meeple on the starting spot in your city. Next, shuffle the Shadow Army cards and draw 6 from the top of the deck. Don't look at them. Remove the remaining Shadow Army cards from the game. The 6 cards you've drawn represent the 6 Shadow Army legions that are approaching Dragonreach and will attack your cities in the final phase of the game. Next, deal one of the 6 Shadow Army cards to each player. They can look at these, but they don't have to reveal them to the other players. The Shadow Army card you get dealt represents intelligence from your rangers on one of the enemy legions you'll fight in the forthcoming battle. This example of a Shadow Army card shows the Ghost Walkers. Each Shadow Army card shows a type of ally that is particularly strong against that type of monster. What this means is that if you have an ally of the same type in your city when that Shadow Army legion attacks, you'll get an extra dice roll to defend against it. The shield at the bottom of this card shows that a witch's ally is strong against the Ghost Walker Legion. If you were dealt this card, you'd want to try to recruit a witch's ally to your city so that you get the extra defense dice when it attacks. As there's only a limited supply of each type of ally, you'll want to try to recruit that ally before there are none left, hence why you might want to keep your intel secret from other players who may want to recruit the same type of ally. You'll want to recruit other allies too, as different allies are strong against different Shadow Army legions, and you won't know which legions are in the Shadow Army deck, apart from the one you have in your hand, until the end phase of the game. You can only recruit one of each ally type to fight in your city. Next, shuffle the deck of wilderness cards and place it face down near the board. We'll talk about these in a moment. Now it's time to organise the other game pieces. Place the 6 groups of ally tokens near the board. If you're playing a 4-player game, place 3 of each ally here. If you're playing a 2 or 3-player game, place 2 of each ally. There is 1 fewer ally of each type than the number of players. Place the resource tokens near the board. These represent the 3 resource types: wood, iron and stone, and you can buy each of those at a cost of 1 gold per resource. Next, place the 3 market dice on the market prices board. Set each of the dice to a value of 3. These are the starting prices at the beginning of the game for selling each wood, iron and stone at the market. Each time a player sells any resource at market, all the market dice are rolled, establishing a new selling price for each resource. The gold you make from selling resources allows you to buy a horse or dragon, pay for extra moves and recruit allies. Each player starts the game with 9 gold, so give this amount of gold to each player now. Now we need to place some wilderness encounters. Take the 9 campfire tokens and place 1 on each of the 9 campfire spaces on the board. Whenever you land on one of these spaces, you'll remove the token and draw a card from the wilderness deck. Each of these cards is an adventure in the wilderness and a chance to acquire gold, treasure or other rewards if you succeed. Next, shuffle the deck of quest cards and place it face down near the board. You can draw 1 free quest card whenever you're in Dragonmarch. They take a little longer to complete than wilderness encounters, but the rewards are greater. You may only have 1 quest in progress at a time. Finally, place the moonrise track next to the board and the Shadow Army figure nearby. The Shadow Army moves 1 space along the moonrise track each time a player recruits an ally to their city or builds their 3rd stronghold. When the Shadow Army reaches the 7th moon space, normal play ends and you must defend your city against the 6 Shadow Army legions. That's it. You're set up, you have an idea of how the different game elements work, and you're ready to play 7 moons. Let's have a quick look at gameplay. Okay, it's your first turn. Let's go through your options. In 7 moons you're trying to build up to 3 strongholds in your city and recruit as many allies to fight for you. The more strongholds and allies you have in your city when the Shadow Army attacks, the greater your chance of repelling the Shadow Army legions and saving your city and the realm. Central to the game is the market town of Dragonmarch, and this is often your first destination after leaving your city. You'll visit Dragonmarch a lot during the game, so let's take a quick look at what you can do there. First, here's where you buy a horse, which will cost you 5 gold. You set out from your city on foot, but walking is the slowest way to journey around the map, so it's a good idea to get a horse within your first few turns. Dragonmarch is also where you'll sell resources, wood, iron and stone, once you've purchased them. Resources, as we mentioned in the earlier part of the video, cost 1 gold each to buy, and you get them from the wood elves at Tarndale, from the iron dwarves at Deep Mine and the stone giants at Karun. You can then sell your resources at Dragonmarch for their current market prices. This is the most consistent way to make a profit and build up your wealth during the game. As well as using gold to buy resources and buy a horse, you'll also need it to recruit allies and upgrade your horse travel to Dragonflight. You can also spend gold to move further on your turn. If you decide you want to embark on a quest for gold and other rewards, Dragonmarch is also where you go to draw a quest card. As well as selling resources for gold, they're also used to build strongholds. When you have 1 of each resource, a wood, an iron and a stone, you can trade them in at Dragonmarch. And this allows you to place 1 stronghold in your city for each set of resources you trade in. So that's the basic game mechanic. Travel to the resource domains, buy wood, iron and stone, travel to Dragonmarch, sell the resources to make lots of lovely gold, or trade a set to build a stronghold. Let's have a quick look at what else you can do. To recruit allies, you must travel to their domains. There are 6 ally types in the game. These are shown on the map by their shield symbols. We've already talked about the elven, dwarven and giant domains as places to buy resources, but all 3 of those races can also be recruited as allies. In addition, there are 3 other ally types you can recruit. They are the barbarians of Freecloud in the far south, and in the north, the wizards from the Tower of the Magi and the witches of Deathberry Hollow. Recruiting an ally will cost you 10 gold. As we explained in the setup video, you can travel to any of the campfire locations and draw a wilderness card. The wilderness of Dragonreach is a strange and unpredictable place, and travelling through the wilderness can attract bandits who will steal gold and resources from you. On the upside, wilderness encounters can reward you with gold, free allies and strongholds, and even magic items to help you defend against the Shadow Army. Then there are quests. As we said, you can choose to draw a free quest card when you're in Dragonmarch. These take a little longer to complete and usually involve travelling to one or more locations, but the rewards are generally greater. The game comes with 12 quests, each one immersing you in the characters and stories of Dragonreach as it prepares for war. Finally, there's Dragon Mountain, the home of the dragons that gifted your people the kingdom of Dragonreach. Travel to Dragon Mountain with a horse, and for 10 gold you can exchange your mount for a dragon steed, able to fly you swiftly and safely across the land. Plus, if you own a dragon when the shadow phase occurs, it will help you defend against the shadow army. So, that's the world of Dragonreach, and it's your world to explore and interact with. All that's left is for you to decide how best to use your time to build the strongest defences for your city before the Shadow Army descends on Dragonreach at the rising of the 7th moon. Which brings us to the final endgame, the Shadow phase, which we'll talk about now. The Shadow phase is the 7 moons end game, when the Shadow Army legions cross into Dragonreach and attack its 4 cities. Here we have the game set up for the Shadow phase, but let's just remind ourselves what actually triggers the Shadow phase. The Shadow Army figure moves along the moonrise track during the game. There are 2 events that cause the Shadow Army to move along the track. It moves 1 space each time a player recruits an ally to their city, and it moves 1 space each time a player builds their 3rd stronghold. When the Shadow Army reaches the 7th moon space on the track, the game stops and we set up the Shadow phase. To begin the Shadow phase, place the Shadow phase tile over Dragonmarch. Dragonreach is now overrun by the Shadow Army. If you have a dragon when the Shadow phase begins, place it in your city. It will now help in your defence. Next, take the Shadow Army cards held by each player and without looking at them, shuffle them into the Shadow Army deck you set up at the start of the game. Lay the 6 cards face down in a row. These will now be revealed one at a time and you must attempt to defend against each. Let's turn over the first Shadow Army card. So, the first Shadow Army legion you're going to face is the Revenant Army, a zombie horde. Each Shadow Army legion attacks all players' cities simultaneously. On each attack, players combine their dice rolls to defend the realm, then they use their individual dice rolls to defend their city. Each player always gets to roll at least 1 dice against the attacker. If a player has an ally in their city that matches the ally symbol on the Shadow Army card, they get an extra dice in defence against that Shadow Army legion. You also get to roll an extra dice if you have 3 strongholds in your city. But as soon as you have fewer than 3 strongholds in your city, you lose this defence bonus. Finally, if you have a dragon defending your city, you may choose to re-roll one of your defence dice once for each Shadow Army attack. Let's see how combat works. You'll see that the Revenant Army has a realm attack score of 12. All players must first defend collectively against the realm attack. Each player rolls their defence dice, 1 or more depending on whether you have ally or stronghold bonuses, and the results are combined to give a realm defence score for all players. If this is equal or higher than the Revenant Army's realm attack strength, you have jointly defended the realm against this attacker. On this occasion, the players have scored 13 between them, so they've successfully defended the realm from this attacker. If your defence score is lower, then every player must remove either a stronghold or an ally from their city. This means you failed to defend the realm against this attacker, and your city's defence resources are now depleted by 1. Whether your realm defence was successful or not, each player must now defend their city. You'll see that the Revenant Army has a city attack score of 3. Each player now uses their individual results from the realm defence dice roll that you did previously. If your score is equal or higher than the Revenant Army's city attack strength, you've successfully defended your city against the attack. If it's lower, in this case a 1 or a 2, your city has been breached by the Revenant Army and you must remove either a stronghold or an ally from your city. You now repeat the same process for each of the 6 Shadow Army cards, revealing them in turn, attempting to defend against them until you've faced the final Shadow Army Legion. You win and save Dragonmarch if any player has at least one ally or stronghold remaining in their city after you've resolved combat against the last Shadow Army Legion in the deck. If at any point you have no strongholds or allies left in your city, it has fallen to the invaders and you're out of the game. Any remaining players must defend against the Shadow Army without you. If all players lose all of their allies and strongholds before the final Shadow Army Legion is defeated, then the Shadow Army has won, Dragonmarch has fallen, and the game is over. You'll need to try again. That's it. You're now ready to set up and play Seven Moons. All the rules are covered simply and clearly in the 12-page illustrated rulebook that comes with the game, but also feel free to contact us with any rules queries you might have. We hope you have a great time playing Seven Moons. Good luck on your journey.